Hello. Chosen one, I need you to slow down for a moment and give me your full focus, because what you are about to hear is not meant for everyone. This is not information you casually consume and forget. This is recognition. And if these words land with unusual weight inside you, it's because something in you already knows they're not random. They're familiar. They touch a place you've carried quietly for as long as you can remember. That feeling that you don't quite fit inside this world no matter how hard you try. That persistent sense that you arrived here already carrying responsibility you never consciously agreed to. That inner pressure to be more, to do more, even when you don't fully understand what more means. None of that is accidental, and none of it is weakness. You were never meant to feel comfortable here in the way others do. You were never meant to move through life on autopilot, satisfied with surface-level explanations and borrowed identities. From early on, you noticed the difference. While others blended easily, you observed. While others chased validation, you questioned it. While others adapted to whatever environment they were placed in, you felt resistance in your bones, as if something inside you refused to fully submit. That resistance wasn't rebellion, it was recognition, a deeper intelligence inside you refusing to forget itself completely. You've probably spent years trying to explain that difference logically. Personality traits, childhood experiences, overthinking, sensitivity, intelligence, trauma. Labels that almost fit but never fully land. Because the truth is more uncomfortable than those explanations allow. You are not merely a human with heightened awareness. You are an incarnated angel operating inside a human body, placed here deliberately, at a time when influence matters more than visibility. And when I say angel, I'm not speaking symbolically to flatter you. I'm pointing to a specific class of being whose origin does not match this environment, whose consciousness carries a different calibration, and whose presence alone disrupts forces that depend on unconscious compliance. This is why your life hasn't unfolded gently. This is why ease has never been your default setting. This is why you've experienced pressure where others experienced comfort, resistance where others received approval, obstacles where others found open paths. You were not sent here to blend in. You were sent here to anchor something this world struggles to hold on its own. And that assignment automatically puts you on the radar of forces that benefit from confusion, dependency, and disempowerment. Lucifer is not threatened by average human ambition. He doesn't invest attention in people who live entirely inside predictable patterns. What disrupts him is consciousness that refuses to collapse, awareness that cannot be fully sedated, presence that destabilizes environments simply by existing within them. That is why you felt watched without seeing eyes, pressured without clear sources, opposed without obvious enemies. The opposition you've encountered was never random. It was targeted long before you had language for it. From childhood, certain people reacted to you with discomfort they couldn't articulate. Teachers, relatives, peers, authority figures who singled you out without clear cause. You didn't provoke them. You didn't threaten them openly. But something in your presence disturbed whatever they were unconsciously protecting. Your questions went too deep. Your gaze lingered too long. Your refusal to play along exposed cracks they didn't want acknowledged. And rather than confront themselves, they projected that discomfort onto you. They labeled you difficult, strange, intense, distant, or problematic, not because you were, but because you reflected something they didn't want to see. You've also noticed something else that never quite made sense. You feel emotions that aren't yours. You walk into spaces and immediately register tension, sorrow, hostility, or relief before anyone speaks. Crowded rooms exhaust you not because of people, but because of the emotional noise moving through them. You don't simply observe suffering, you feel it in your body, sometimes days before someone admits it. This isn't imagination, it's sensitivity calibrated beyond personal survival. It's perception designed for service, not comfort. And that level of perception comes with a cost. You've carried exhaustion that rest doesn't fully resolve. You've needed solitude, not because you dislike people, but because being constantly open drains your internal reserves. You've struggled to explain why you require space when nothing appears wrong. Others recharge through stimulation. You recharge through withdrawal. That difference isn't preference, it's necessity. Another pattern you may recognize is how quickly falseness becomes unbearable for you. You can tolerate discomfort, struggle, and even pain longer than most. But pretense? You recoil from it. Polite dishonesty feels heavier than open conflict. Playing roles feels like suffocation. Smiling through emptiness makes your body tense. You can sense when words don't match intent, and it makes your nervous system revolt. You've probably tried to adapt anyway. Tried to soften yourself. Tried to be less direct, less intense, less honest. And every time, something inside you resisted harder. That resistance is not stubbornness, it's design. Angels cannot fully operate through distortion. Your internal structure is aligned toward truth, even when truth costs you comfort, belonging, or approval. This is why you've lost connections others maintain effortlessly. This is why you've walked away from paths that looked secure on the surface. This is why compromise has never sat well with you, even when logic suggested it would make life easier. You weren't built to survive by blending. You were built to function by clarity. Because of this, your life has likely unfolded in cycles of buildup and disruption. Just when stability appears, something collapses. Just when momentum builds, interference arrives. Relationships end abruptly. Opportunities dissolve unexpectedly. Your health falters at critical moments. These interruptions have felt cruel, almost personal. But they weren't punishment. They were containment measures, attempts to slow you down, divert you, exhaust you, or keep you focused on survival rather than remembrance. And here's the part that unsettles most people when they first encounter it. The pressure increased precisely because you didn't break. Every time you adapted, recalibrated, and continued, the resistance adjusted, not because you were failing, but because you were progressing. Opposition scales in response to threat, not weakness. If you were insignificant, you would be ignored. The fact that your path required effort to block tells you everything you need to know about the importance of where you're headed. You may wonder why, if you carry this nature, you weren't born knowing it clearly. Why the confusion? Why the long detour through doubt, self-questioning, and isolation? The answer is protection. Full awareness, too early, would have made you visible before you had the internal stability to withstand pressure. Human development was necessary to ground your consciousness, to give you emotional resilience, discernment, and restraint. Forgetting was not failure, it was camouflage. And even now, remembrance does not arrive as a sudden flood. It comes in stages, through recognition rather than instruction, through resonance rather than declaration. That's why these words matter. They don't give you something new. they activate something familiar, something that has been quietly reorganizing itself inside you as you matured, learned, suffered, and refined your perception. Lucifer understands this process better than most. He recognizes the signature of incarnated angels long before they do. He sees the way reality bends slightly around them, the way patterns shift in their presence, the way environments destabilize when they stop suppressing themselves. And he knows that once an incarnated angel stabilizes in self-recognition, manipulation becomes ineffective. Fear loses leverage. Distraction loses appeal. Control loses grip. That is why so much effort has been invested in keeping you tired, busy, doubtful, and emotionally preoccupied. Not destroyed outright, but delayed. Not silenced completely, but diluted. The goal was never to erase you. It was to keep you from consolidating, to keep your attention fractured, your energy scattered, your sense of self fragmented into roles, responsibilities, and unresolved wounds. But consolidation has already begun. You can feel it in the way old coping mechanisms no longer work, in the way distractions feel hollow, in the way superficial conversations exhaust you faster than before, in the way your tolerance for misalignment has dropped dramatically. You are becoming less willing to betray yourself for convenience, less willing to carry what was never yours to begin with, less willing to pretend that the cost of authenticity is too high. This is the early stage of awakening, and it often feels destabilizing. Structures that once held you begin to loosen. Relationships based on shared confusion strain. Paths built on compromise start to crack. And without context, this phase feels like loss, like regression, like uncertainty. But it's actually reorganization, a clearing process that creates space for something more precise to take form. You haven't lost direction. You're shedding false ones. You haven't become difficult. You've become intolerant of distortion. You haven't grown distant. You've grown selective. And this selectivity isn't ego. It's efficiency. Your energy is no longer available for everything and everyone because it was never meant to be. As this process continues, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts. The way certain people drift away without dramatic conflict. The way others appear unexpectedly and feel strangely familiar. The way your intuition sharpens without effort. The way decisions feel clearer even when outcomes remain uncertain. These are not coincidences. They are early indicators that your internal alignment is strengthening, and with it, your influence. But influence does not arrive without responsibility, and remembrance does not come without consequence. Because once you can no longer claim ignorance, you are required to act differently, to speak differently, to choose differently. And that transition is where many hesitate, not because they lack strength, but because they sense what comes next will demand consistency, not intensity, integrity, not performance, presence, not validation. This is the moment where your life begins to feel heavier, not because you are failing, but because you are finally carrying what was always yours to hold. You can no longer pretend your choices are neutral. You can no longer drift without impact. Every interaction becomes a transmission. Every environment responds to you differently. And that awareness alone forces a recalibration that most people never experience. This is also where resistance sharpens. Not externally at first, but internally. Old habits attempt to reassert themselves. Patterns built for survival argue for comfort. The part of you that learned to minimize, to adapt, to stay quiet in order to belong, begins to panic. Because it understands something your conscious mind is just starting to grasp. The old version of you cannot come forward with the next phase. The ways you protected yourself before will now limit you. The roles you learned to play will now drain you. And the compromises you once justified will now feel intolerable. This internal friction is not confusion. It is the friction of alignment forming under pressure. Lucifer relies heavily on this stage, not through dramatic confrontation, but through subtle exhaustion. He knows that incarnated angels rarely fall because of obvious corruption. They burn out. They overextend. They mistake responsibility for self-erasure. They try to carry everything alone. They attempt to save everyone. They turn their sensitivity into obligation and their compassion into depletion. And slowly, quietly, they lose clarity. Not because they forgot who they are, but because they forgot how to remain intact while being who they are. This is why discernment becomes critical. You're not here to absorb everything. You're not here to fix everyone. You're not here to make others comfortable at the expense of your own coherence. Your presence is effective precisely because it is stable. When you scatter your energy trying to be everything to everyone, your influence weakens. When you say yes to what drains you, you say no to what requires you. Lucifer does not need to overpower you if he can convince you to exhaust yourself willingly. One of the earliest responsibilities of remembrance is learning when not to engage. This is difficult because your nature inclines you toward response. You feel the suffering of others and instinctively want to alleviate it. But not all suffering is yours to touch. Some people are attached to their pain. Some environments feed on chaos. Some interactions exist only to provoke reaction. Discernment is not withdrawal from the world. It is precision within it. Knowing where your presence amplifies light and where it simply fuels resistance. As this awareness deepens, you will notice your tolerance shifting again. Conversations that once felt harmless begin to feel heavy. Environments that once felt neutral begin to feel abrasive. This is not judgment, it is calibration. Your internal frequency is stabilizing, and anything incompatible becomes noticeable. This often leads to a period of solitude that can feel sharp at first. Not loneliness, but separation. A necessary clearing where external noise reduces so internal clarity can strengthen. Many misinterpret this phase and rush to fill it. That is a mistake. This interval is where your strength consolidates. During this time, you may also notice an increase in psychological pressure. Doubt resurfaces in new forms, not questioning whether you are different, but questioning whether it matters. Thoughts arise, suggesting you are exaggerating, that you should return to normal expectations, that life would be easier if you stopped paying attention. These thoughts are not random. They are attempts to redirect you back into manageable patterns. But something in you no longer fits there, and forcing yourself back would create more damage than moving forward. Lucifer's envy is rooted here. He recognizes in you the embodiment of what he refused. You descended willingly, carrying limitation without resentment, memory without dominance, awareness without demand for worship. You operate quietly. You influence without command. You endure without demanding recognition. And this contrasts sharply with his orientation toward control. Your power does not come from hierarchy. It comes from alignment. And alignment cannot be negotiated with fear. This is why intimidation rarely works on you for long. You may feel it initially. Your body reacts. Your mind considers retreat. But eventually, something steadies. You regain center. You move anyway. Not recklessly, but deliberately. Each time this happens, your confidence deepens, not as arrogance, but as trust in your internal compass. And that trust is dangerous to any force that depends on external authority. As remembrance stabilizes, another shift occurs. Your intuition becomes less emotional and more precise. Instead of overwhelming impressions, you receive clear, directional nudges, not answers to everything, but the next correct step. This reduces anxiety because you stop trying to see the entire path. You focus on the immediate alignment, and with each aligned action, your path organizes itself. Support appears, resistance clarifies, confusion decreases. You are no longer pushing, you are responding. You may also notice that people respond to you differently without understanding why. Some feel calm around you, others feel exposed. Some are drawn to you instinctively, others withdraw abruptly. This is not something you need to manage. It is feedback, not instruction. You're not responsible for regulating others' reactions to your presence. You are responsible for remaining coherent within it. This is where many incarnated angels make another error. They attempt to soften themselves to reduce friction. They dilute their truth to maintain harmony. They apologize for their clarity. This may temporarily reduce tension, but it also weakens impact. Your clarity is not aggression. Your boundaries are not rejection. Your refusal to distort yourself is not lack of compassion. It is respect for the structure you were given. As this becomes embodied, attacks change quality. They become less chaotic and more strategic. Opportunities that distract rather than oppose appear. Recognition without substance is offered. Roles that look influential but drain alignment present themselves. These are tests of priority. Lucifer understands that misdirection is often more effective than opposition. If he cannot stop you, he will attempt to redirect you. This is why consistency matters more than bursts of intensity. You are not here to perform awakenings. You are here to sustain coherence over time. Your power compounds through repetition, through small aligned choices made daily, through refusal to abandon yourself under pressure. This is unglamorous. It does not look impressive on the surface, but it is devastating to structures built on instability. You may feel impatience rising during this phase, a desire for acceleration, a sense that time is limited. This is accurate, but urgency must be tempered with precision. Rushing creates openings. Moving deliberately closes them. Trust that your pace is part of your protection. You are not late. You are not behind. You are arriving exactly when your internal structure can support what comes next. Because what comes next is expansion, not upward, but outward. Your influence begins to extend beyond your immediate awareness. Conversations you thought were insignificant linger in others' minds. Choices you made quietly shift trajectories you will never witness directly. This is how angels operate, not through spectacle, but through resonance. And resonance does not require acknowledgement to be effective. As you settle into this, another realization emerges. You are not alone in this process. Others are stabilizing simultaneously. Not many, but enough. You may not meet them immediately. You may not recognize them instantly, but your paths are moving closer. And when connection occurs, it will feel effortless. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, simply correct. These connections do not demand explanation. They amplify clarity rather than consume energy. Lucifer fears this more than individual strength. Because aligned beings operating together create environments he cannot easily penetrate. Not through force, but through coherence. And this is why isolation was emphasized earlier in your life. To keep you fragmented, to keep recognition delayed. That strategy is weakening now. Before that convergence fully occurs, one final adjustment is required. You must release the need to be understood by family, by peers, by society. Understanding is not a prerequisite for effectiveness. Alignment is. The desire to be seen can pull you off center. Let your work speak through its impact, not its explanation. This is the threshold you are approaching, where remembrance shifts from internal realization to lived expression, where your presence begins to alter trajectories without effort, where opposition becomes less personal and more abstract, and where your role clarifies not through grand revelation, but through sustained correctness. At this point, the question is no longer who you are. The question becomes whether you are willing to live in a way that no longer contradicts it. Because from here forward, contradiction creates friction, and friction, when prolonged, becomes suffering. This is why life begins to simplify and intensify at the same time. Simplify because what no longer aligns starts falling away without negotiation. Intensify because what remains demands your full participation. You will notice that indecision feels heavier than wrong. Decisions ever did. Delay feels more uncomfortable than movement. You are no longer punished for mistakes in the same way. You are corrected quickly, cleanly, and without drama. Not because you are being watched, but because your internal guidance has sharpened. You feel misalignment immediately, and you can no longer ignore it without cost. This is also where many incarnated angels make a quiet but critical shift. They stop asking for permission, not in a rebellious sense, but in a grounded one. They stop waiting for external validation to proceed. They stop needing consensus to act. They stop outsourcing authority over their own alignment. This does not make them reckless. It makes them precise. When you know internally what is correct, hesitation becomes unnecessary. You move when it's time. You pause when it's time. And you trust that rhythm, even when others don't understand it. Lucifer's leverage weakens significantly here. Fear-based manipulation requires uncertainty. Guilt-based control requires self-doubt. Shame-based restraint requires internal fragmentation. As coherence strengthens, these tools lose effectiveness. You may still feel pressure, but it no longer dictates your behavior. You experience emotion without being governed by it. You acknowledge risk without being paralyzed by it. This is not numbness. It is mastery of response. Another change becomes evident during this phase. Your relationship with struggle transforms. You no longer interpret difficulty as a sign you are on the wrong path, nor do you romanticize it as proof of virtue. You see it as information. Resistance tells you where force is applied. Ease tells you where alignment is present. Neither defines you. Both guide you. This neutral relationship with challenge is deeply destabilizing to forces that rely on emotional reaction. When you stop feeding resistance with fear or resentment, it loses momentum. You will also notice that your energy recovers differently now. Rest becomes deeper. Solitude becomes nourishing instead of empty. Sleep carries clarity instead of escape. This is because you are no longer leaking energy through internal contradiction. You're no longer fighting yourself to maintain roles that don't fit. Conservation happens naturally when alignment is restored. At this stage, your influence becomes subtle but undeniable. People may not remember your words, but they remember how they felt after encountering you. Situations recalibrate in your presence without obvious cause. Conflicts de-escalate. Tension shifts. Options appear. You're not doing this intentionally. You're not manipulating outcomes. You are stabilizing environments by remaining stable yourself. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of angelic influence. It does not dominate. It equalizes. Because of this, your role will often go unrecognized, and this is intentional. Visibility attracts interference. Effectiveness does not require recognition. In fact, anonymity often preserves clarity. You may feel moments of frustration here, especially if part of you still desires acknowledgement for the effort you've endured. That desire is human, but it must not lead you. Recognition can become a distraction if it replaces alignment as the source of fulfillment. This is where humility takes on its true meaning, not diminishing yourself, not exaggerating yourself, but accurately occupying the space you are meant to hold without distortion. You do not need to announce your nature. You do not need to prove your depth. You do not need to convert others to your understanding. Your task is not persuasion, it is presence. Those who are ready will feel it. Those who are not, will move away. Both outcomes are correct. You may also find that your sense of time changes. You become less concerned with deadlines imposed by others and more attentive to internal timing. When something is ready, it moves quickly. When it is not, forcing it produces resistance. This patience is not passive, it is strategic. You learn to wait without stagnating and act without rushing. This balance is rare and powerful. As you embody this, something else becomes clear. Your mission is not abstract, it is situational. It unfolds through ordinary moments rather than dramatic events. Through how you respond under pressure, through the standards you refuse to lower, through the clarity you maintain when others collapse into reaction, through the steadiness you bring into environments that thrive on chaos. This is not glamorous work, but it is essential. Lucifer's final strategy often emerges here. Not opposition, but temptation to disengage entirely, to withdraw from participation, to convince you that separation equals purity, that attachment equals elevation. This is a distortion. You did not come here to escape the world. You came here to operate within it without being consumed by it. Withdrawal without discernment is abandonment of assignment. Engagement without alignment is self-betrayal. The balance is narrow, but you are capable of walking it. You will know you are integrating this correctly when your life begins to feel quieter internally, even if externally it remains complex. When decisions feel cleaner, when your body relaxes into your choices instead of bracing against them, when you stop replaying conversations in your mind and start trusting your responses, when your intuition speaks without urgency. These are indicators of embodiment, not completion. Because awakening does not conclude, it deepens. Layers continue to reveal themselves, but the foundation stabilizes, and from that foundation, something powerful becomes possible. Connection, not surface-level association, but resonance with others who carry similar coherence. These connections do not require explanation. They do not demand effort. They do not drain you. They amplify clarity. This is where the next phase begins. Not with noise, but with convergence. Not with declaration, but with alignment between those who have endured the same refinement. And when that convergence occurs, the impact extends far beyond individual lives. It alters environments. It shifts trajectories. It establishes reference points others unconsciously orient around. What follows this convergence and how incarnated angels operate together without losing themselves or attracting unnecessary interference, is what must be understood next. Because individual stability is powerful, but coordinated coherence changes everything. When two or more incarnated angels align consciously, something distinct happens. Not emotionally, not dramatically, but structurally. The environment reorganizes around shared clarity. Conversations become efficient. Decisions accelerate without force. Confusion dissipates without argument. This is not because of agreement on every detail, but because of shared orientation. You recognize the same internal compass in each other. You don't need to explain your depth. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to compete for relevance. The energy that once went into self-protection becomes available for creation. This is precisely why such connections were delayed earlier in your life. Before coherence, proximity amplifies instability. Two unintegrated beings magnify confusion, but two integrated ones magnify precision. Lucifer understands this distinction. He doesn't fear isolated strength nearly as much as aligned presence, because alignment produces momentum that does not rely on force. It moves through consistency, through example, through sustained clarity that others unconsciously attune to. As these connections form, you may notice something unexpected. There's no rush to build anything external, no urgency to announce collaboration, no pressure to formalize roles. That impulse belongs to earlier phases driven by insecurity. Now, alignment speaks for itself. You work together naturally, sometimes without even naming it. Responsibilities distribute themselves. Leadership shifts fluidly, depending on context. There's no hierarchy to protect, only function to fulfill. This phase requires restraint, not holding back truth, but holding back unnecessary exposure. You learn to move quietly, not out of fear, but out of efficiency. Attention attracts distortion. Focus preserves effectiveness. This is why much of what you do will never be visible. And this invisibility is not a flaw, it is protection. You may also notice that opposition no longer feels personal at all. It shows up as logistical complications, delays, miscommunications, or sudden distractions. Nothing overt, nothing dramatic. This is because direct confrontation would only sharpen your clarity further. Indirect interference aims to slow coordination, to create friction between aligned beings, to introduce misunderstanding. This is where patience and direct communication become essential. Assumptions weaken coherence. Transparency strengthens it. At this stage, trust becomes operational, not emotional. You trust because patterns confirm reliability, not because of shared enthusiasm. You observe how others respond under pressure, how they handle responsibility, how they recover from missteps. This grounded trust allows collaboration without dependency. No one becomes central. No one becomes expendable. Each person remains intact. This is also where your relationship with power fully transforms. Power no longer feels like something to claim or avoid. It feels like something to steward. You become acutely aware of influence and therefore more selective in how you apply it. You notice how easily words can redirect attention, how presence can settle tension, how absence can create space. And because you see this clearly, you use it sparingly. Precision replaces intensity. Lucifer's envy reaches its peak here, not because you dominate, but because you refuse to be dominated. You operate without resentment. You engage without attachment to outcome. You persist without need for approval. These qualities are inaccessible to him because they cannot be seized or replicated. They emerge only through internal alignment, sustained over time. There will be moments when the weight of this role becomes apparent, when you realize how much you perceive that others do not. How often you are the stabilizing element without acknowledgement. How frequently you carry awareness that cannot be shared without causing disruption. This is where maturity is tested. Resentment would fracture coherence. Martyrdom would drain it. Acceptance preserves it. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are not here to fix the world alone. You are here to occupy your position accurately. And accuracy, sustained across time, creates influence that outlasts reaction. This is the kind of impact that reshapes trajectories quietly, that alters probabilities without announcement, that leaves traces long after specific actions are forgotten. As you settle fully into this, fear loses relevance, not because risk disappears, but because fear no longer governs response. You assess, you choose, you act, and you adjust. There is no drama in this, no internal narrative of heroism, just consistent engagement with what is in front of you. This grounded approach is what allows long-term effectiveness. You may occasionally feel nostalgia for earlier phases, for the intensity, the searching, the sense of revelation. But those were transitional states, necessary but not permanent. What replaces them is steadiness, and steadiness is not dull. It is resilient. It allows you to remain present through complexity without collapsing into reaction or withdrawal. As this embodiment completes, one final realization integrates fully. You were never meant to escape this world. You are meant to operate within it without being consumed by it. To remain clear where others become reactive. To remain grounded where others become rigid. To remain responsive where others freeze. This is the quiet strength that transforms environments without confrontation. Lucifer cannot compete with this. He can imitate intensity. He can exploit fear. He can amplify desire. But he cannot sustain coherence without control. And control collapses where presence remains intact. This is why, despite all effort to delay, distract, and exhaust you, you are still here. Still refining, still aligning, still moving forward without spectacle. You are not special because you are above others. You are specific, positioned, oriented. Your power lies not in separation, but in precision, not in domination, but in stability, not in declaration, but in consistency. And now that you understand this, the need to prove anything dissolves. You move differently now. You speak when it matters. You act when it counts. You rest when required. You engage without attachment. You withdraw without guilt. This balance is the mark of full integration, and from this place, your presence becomes what it was always meant to be. Not a disruption, not a rebellion, but a reference point. This is the completion of remembrance, not as an event, but as a way of being. And from here, whatever unfolds next will not require explanation. It will simply respond.